Yeah, I think when, especially at this club, it's something I've said before, the bare minimum is always to make playoffs. So to not achieve that goal is a disappointment. I know the entire group is disappointed. I'm sure the staff, the organization, the ownership group. We definitely envisioned ourselves making it. That was our goal. But the entirety of the season, there's always ups and downs. We had a lot more downs than ups. I think just the inconsistency played a big part. At times the squad wasn't always the same. We had injuries in moments. Again, though, like these are just excuses. At the end of the day, we're players, and we have to find a way to get it done. So we weren't able to achieve that.
Well, what would you say sort of the real revolution was? Like, you guys beat Montreal like 5-0.
Yep.
So you had these really high in some of those. Where were you guys? Why the inconsistency?
Yeah, it's a tough one to answer, to be honest with you. Something I've been trying to figure out myself, because there's moments where we play really well and it makes sense, and then sometimes the result doesn't go your way, and that's fine. But there's sometimes where we just don't show up for the game. For instance, the DC, like it doesn't make any sense why we took 15 minutes to go down 2-0 to start playing well. I think those games, stick out to me. Not closing out St. Louis at home, Montreal at home. I think when these mistakes start to trickle into the team, it hurts the group, obviously. So individual mistakes were a part of the problem. A collective not playing well enough as a whole is always an issue, and is one of the leaders. I need to get the team on the right track, and I think I could have done a better job in that. But overall, the most important thing is that we didn't make playoffs, and we need to make playoffs. That's the goal every single time we come into this club.
Go to Angel.
Matt, looking back on the season, do you feel like this team, this club, bought into Caleb's brand of football? If so, what needs to happen in the offseason to make sure you can pick it up stronger next season? And if not, why not?
Yeah, I think we were all bought in. I don't think that was the problem. We believe in Caleb. We believe in the staff and what they were asking of us. I don't think we were able to execute it as players, especially at the start of the season. We started really poorly. You can factor in CONCACAF, but in the end, we have plenty of players. We were deep enough where we could have done better. I think it was – I really do like to put it on the players, because I think we can demand more of ourselves into executing the game plan, and we weren't able to do that. So we had to tweak some things, in the end of the season, just trying to find results. But in the end, I think when you look at what the staff has asked of us, I don't think the players ourselves were able to execute that. So we need to look in the mirror, take it upon ourselves individually, assess how our seasons were, and then you can look as a whole. But you need individuals to perform well to win games in the end.
So I guess the follow-up to that is, do you feel like you have the players in the locker room right now to execute his brand of football next season, or does this team need to look elsewhere?
I think, it's a mixture. Obviously, we weren't able to execute because we weren't making playoffs. So I think you have to look elsewhere to an extent, because we didn't make playoffs. So you have to hold people accountable for those performances on the season. That's normal in this game. I can see that probably happening, obviously, because, it's a business. I want to win. I know Caleb wants to win. We definitely see that. We're on the same page with that. So for me, I'm behind him 100%. Whatever he thinks is best for the club, I'm with him. So.
We'll go to Hayden and then Seth.
Dave was just in here, and he was saying, he felt like you guys played between the 18-yard boxes pretty well for a lot of the season, and but obviously, the end result was not good, and you guys didn't make playoffs. I mean, does that just kind of show you, how tight the margins are, I guess, in MLS? That you're really not that far away from, a bad season now, but only a couple of years ago, obviously a record-setting season.
Yeah, I actually thought about this not too long ago, and I think I had a conversation with the players. I feel like one thing that's improved in this league is mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're punished for it. It's something that maybe when I came into the league in 2015 didn't happen as much. You're able to make simple errors at times and get away with it. Now the level is significantly increased. So making these basic errors that I think, have made through the course of the year, we're getting scored on immediately. So, yeah, I thought we played well for a majority of the game, but it comes down to scoring goals and not conceding goals. And obviously we didn't score enough, and we also conceded way too many goals. Yeah, we have to look at that and definitely figure out what the problem was.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. You didn't make the playoffs. You also conceded a lot of goals and didn't score a lot of goals. Looking forward to next season, you mentioned that you're 100% behind Caleb Porter in the organization. What are you seeing on the inside that gives you that confidence that things are going to trend upwards heading into next year?
For me, I think he has the belief and he has the vision. I don't think he's ever doubted this group at all throughout the year. There's obviously it weighs because obviously you have good performance, you have bad performances, and you rely on guys, and then sometimes they perform and sometimes they don't. But I think the structure of weeks of training and build-ups to game, the tactical and the technical side of things, I feel is there, and I really do believe that it comes down to the players to execute the game plan and to perform on a consistent basis. And again, when you look back at the season individually, I don't know if many players can look at themselves and say they had a good season. And that's the truth. If we were playing well individually, we would be in playoffs. We have plenty of talent in the team. It's been talked about multiple times within the group, with the staff. There's just, when you look at our team, player for player, we're up there with some of the best. So I believe that the trainings have been good. I think the build-up to games has been good. I think it comes down to execution.
Guys, I follow up to that. You mentioned individual players not playing well, and why do you think that is? Why aren't guys playing well right now?
I think when you look at, obviously when you get towards the end of the year, I think it's partly confidence. When you're not playing well and then you're losing games, you start to question your ability maybe a little bit. It's not easy to get back on track and bring that confidence. I know some guys can do it even when times are difficult, but I think as a group, we shrunk as a group. That's the truth. You look at the games against St. Louis at home, Montreal at home, those are winnable games. And I think you win those games, the back end of the season, which that was, looks a little different. We're closer. The games are maybe even more meaningful. So we could have done a better job as ourselves as players.
Take one or two more. Let's go to Sam.
And can you just kind of assess your performance this season? I know you kind of mentioned that it seemed like everybody just didn't have the best of seasons, but especially for you, it seemed like there was a little bit of a rotating cast in midfield, next to you, whether it be Mark Anthony Kay, and then you have a guy like Yusuf come in. Just overall, just kind of how you assess the season personally. Yeah,
I think for me, I like to look at my performance. I know you want to do it individually, but as a defensive mid and in the middle of the field as a leader, I really like to do it as a whole. If we're not winning, I don't feel like I'm playing well enough. But I thought I did a good job staying reliable within the team, being durable. But in the end, I think at the end of the day, I just want to win games. And that's the most important thing to me. I emphasize that a lot, that winning is the most important thing in this game. That keeps your job. That keeps everybody happy. And it makes these conversations with you guys a lot easier. So, yeah, I thought it was an okay performance over the season. But, again, I want to win. I don't care if I play well.
And also, too, just kind of to get back to Caleb's kind of vision and style of play, are there any particular aspects that you could kind of be able to talk about that stood out to you? And kind of conversely, were there any kind of aspects of his vision or, tactics that took a while for you to get used to?
Beginning of the season, I think we were, he really wanted to emphasize the aspect of playing out. Again, I think we didn't execute that to what he envisioned maybe. So, then we have to alter things a little bit, maybe play a little more direct, switch it up a little bit, play short sometimes, play long sometimes. But overall, I think the vision was there, the ideas were there. I think it was the players not able to execute.
We'll wrap up with Hayden.
And obviously a new player who came in halfway through the season was Yusuf, playing alongside you. And obviously both of you have a good trait of being able to play really well box to box. Do you feel like that partnership has the potential for long-term success? And do you feel like maybe one of you, or both of you, I guess, would have to maybe develop a little more discipline defensively to kind of balance the other a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a good relationship, good partnership so far. For somebody to come in like that and play as well as he has, I'm not shocked. But it's definitely getting used to each other. I think in the first game we played together was Charlotte, if I wasn't mistaken. Maybe that was the first start together. I'm not sure. But anyway, I felt like we had to balance each other a little bit more, get used to it. But he's very aggressive going forward, so maybe I have to at times be a little more conservative, getting forward and being as aggressive myself. But it's something I think, with the full preseason under our belt, I think we'll be able to figure that out pretty quickly.